Hello, 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 and welcome to the second interactive session of 2023 on resolving the inner conflict. Some of you, I know you've worked with me, you've been my participants, students, clients, different roles, friends, what can I say? And some of you I haven't met in person, but today you're logging into the call. And some of you have requested for a recording. So a big hello to all of the people. Yeah. All right. My request would be please switch on your videos if you have the bandwidth, because it's always nice to interact with faces instead of the screens. Hi, Poonam. Hi,
Hi,
Yes.
Neha.
Hello. All right. So let's get started. So as the topic says, resolving the inner conflict. Time and again, I'm sure all of you will agree that the 100% communication that we have is with ourselves. And then we communicate with others. And there are times when we have our own me time. There are times when we are traveling, doing things, and constantly we have thoughts of various things. It could be about career, relationship, finance. Thoughts could be of different types, right? From anxiety, worry, to excitement, to hopefulness. And that is all our thoughts elicit different kind of emotions. Now comes the real area of discussion, and that is about conflict. Where and when do we face conflict? Now, talking about inner conflict, I'm just going to do a little context setting here, and then I'll open the floor for questions. Before I do the context setting, Poonam, I can see your ceiling, not you. Just, oh yeah, I can see you now. Great. Super. All right. So just talking about conflict. So this conflict can be of different types, but what is conflict? Let's understand that first. Conflict is nothing but an area where we are confused about our decision making, about the choices that we are making, and there is some kind of disagreement or lack of alignment or lack of congruence about certain things. It could be about the values. It could be about the pros and cons that we are weighing of our decisions that we want to make, or it can be about our priorities. Because there are times when we have priorities and something else may come up, and we have to make the right decision. So the conflict can be around that. The conflict can be around relationships, about setting the right boundaries. Should we say what we want to say to the other person? And we are weighing the consequences. What will happen if I say it? What will happen if I don't say it? Conflict can also be about some kind of choices that we are making. Can I let go of something which is so comfortable and explore an unknown territory? Can I make the decision of that financial investment? What is my risk appetite? So conflicts can be of different types, and it can go around in different arenas of our life, right from health to relationship to finance to career to spirituality to our social life to our lifestyle. Yeah. And there are two types of conflicts that usually we are battling with. One conflict is a very external conflict. Conflict with our bosses, our colleagues, our team members, our spouses, our friends, where we are externally having a dialogue with them. But we are not talking about that today. Today, our large focus would be internal conflict, the conflict that we are having within ourselves, with our choices, with our decisions, with our values. So that is what we are going to explore today. Okay. And with that context setting, now I would like the floor opened for questions. This is an interactive question, so shoot your questions, as many as possible. Who's opening the floor? No questions, no caller. Just letting you know. Don't wait for me to facilitate.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
I am in a very confused state currently because I've been trying to pursue my career in the real estate space or the banking space because I've been an ex-banker for 12 years. And that inner conflict is, I've landed up in a situation where I'm very confused. Whether I should. So I've been floating my resume in one particular sector, which is real estate. Plus, I'm floating my resume in the banking space as well. But, that decision within is not coming to, consensus, and it's creating a lot of confusion.
What exactly are you confused about?
As in where do I land? Confused about,
Which
mean-
one to select out of the two?
yes, that is one. Because my interest lies in both, and hence I'm floating my resume to both the sectors. The real estate side, I don't have much of experience. Okay. Whereas the banking side, I have more experience. But I thought, let me explore real estate as well. And, I've landed up in that confusion. Will I do, as of now, there's no reply. So only when the reply comes is when you know that to take a call or to take a decision at that time. But that inner, there's a lot of inner self, a lot of confusion.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you a couple of questions here. Okay. What do you want to achieve with
I
your
need
career?
stability. Okay, so I need stability of income.
Okay.
I need to enjoy the job. I need to get the job of my choice, because when you get something out of your choice, is what you will enjoy doing.
Okay. Okay.
So these two things I'm very clear about.
All right.
So stability of income, yeah, stability of income and clarity about enjoying the job.
Okay. Which out of these two sectors do you think will fulfill these two criterias?
Both can fulfill. Both can fulfill.
I'm talking
It-
about also the second criteria which you mentioned about enjoying the job, and also both the jobs come with their own specific pressures, and both the jobs will be very demanding. Both the sectors will be very demanding in different ways.
Yes. Yes. So I am open to that. I have no disconnect to that. But for the first time in my life, usually I've always had clarity. But for the first time in my life, I have landed up in a very confusing position, whether I should run to real estate, whether I should run to banking. So what I did is I floated my resume in both the sectors. That's all I've done so far.
Okay. What I also understand, Poonam, is that this seems to be a little bit of a head versus heart conflict.
Yes.
So somewhere you just mentioned that you have experience of banking sector, you have been in banking sector. So logically, if you put down things on the paper, the weight of the banking sector will be way higher, way bigger, because you have
Yes.
the experience, you know the systems, you have the process acumen, the system acumen. And there could be a side of you will say that, let's explore something different. Let's take that different leap and see what is there in the store for us, where real estate is popping up. Have I got that right?
Absolutely. Where I'm coming from, Neha, is that I've been on a very long sabbatical of 6 years for personal and family reasons. So now for me to go back, I've been trying to, try in both the sectors. So that's where I've landed up in a little confusing position.
Is there any kind of thought that is stopping you from exploring any one sector?
No.
Okay. Okay. Where does sorry, go on.
See, ideally, yeah, if I had if I had just gone back to the banking sector, then I don't think I would have this confusion. But because I have developed that interest in the real estate space also, and floated my resume in both places. So, one day I'm reading about one developer. The second day I'm reading something pertaining to the stock market. So, that's how it's, I'm in that position, like one day I'm reading this, one day I'm reading that.
Okay.
So that's where I've landed up.
Okay. What is more important for you, the financial security or sense of fulfillment?
Financial security.
If logically, if we were to look at things, ideally, when we face an inner conflict, the way in which we make decision is we list down the pros and cons, we list down what we really want. But in this case, what I also see is that there is some kind of inclination towards real estate. And there has to be a very solid reason why you have developed that interest for real estate. But today we are not getting into all of that. Otherwise, it would be a very personal session. But there
Yeah.
must be very solid reasons that you must have identified that these are the reasons because of which I like real estate. Now the question comes, are you willing to explore a territory which you haven't been experienced of? Are you willing to take the risk that it demands?
I'm willing to take, no. So I'm not 100% willing to take that risk because while I have developed that interest, last 2 years, I have been working independently as a broker on the real estate space and I've not had success so far, but still that interest still lies, so that's why the risk factor, not able to decide,
Sure.
not able to be on one side.
Is there any possibility that you can have both?
Have both.
Have you given it a thought?
No.
Would you like to give it a thought?
Sure.
You have to figure out. I mean, we are exploring here. I'm just trying to nudge you in some way where you can think like we all can have it all. And I'm saying this from my personal experience. So
Okay.
if that is the burning desire for you,
Yes,
financial
it
stability,
is.
then you have to make a rational decision. So always ask yourself, what is the burning desire? If you are taken care of by your family, let's say, they're like, you don't have to worry about daily expenses, we'll take care of you, and you are getting all of that, perhaps then your decision will change.
Then I should be able to take that risk in going into the real estate space, however it shapes up for me.
Maybe. But then
Yeah.
a different inner conflict will begin that, will I be able to cope? I'm just saying in general, some other conflict may cope up. Okay, how much do I have to explore in my unknown territory? I may have to go and I may have difficult clients. I may have to negotiate. I may have to up my ante on all of those. So that will be altogether a different arena of thought and
Yeah.
and reflection. But the primary point of decision making is this, where you are. So identify what is really important for you, what matters to you, and then make that decision.
Okay. Because I did go for a banking interview, wherein I was questioned about my 6-year sabbatical. And, probably they were, trying to say that you have to come back as a fresher. So which means I have to prove myself all over again from scratch. So even though I have 12 years of experience, I still have to start from a clean slate.
But that's not the kind of
So-
job that you're looking for, right?
I mean, with my 12 years experience, I'm looking at it in the same field, what I was managing investments for clients.
Right.
But but then they are of the opinion that even though you have experience, but your 6-year sabbatical has taken a back.
No, I got that. What I meant was that when we put out a desire out to the universe wants
Yes.
us to put out a very clear desire. Let me give an example. You go to a shopping mall, or I would say you go to Big Bazaar or D-Mart, and you go to the veggie counter and you say, I want to make food. So now there are options. There is packet food, there are veggies, There is frozen food. There is ready to make. There are many options. Which option do you want? But you are like, no, I want to have fresh veggies. That's exactly what I'm going to make at home. So then you have
Correct.
to
Because
travel.
you have that because you have that you want to make fresh veggies at home.
Yeah.
So you obviously go and yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you cannot get fresh veggies standing in the counter of packet food. And maybe in
Obviously not.
but in the packet food counter, you are standing in that counter and you're like, there are no fresh foods. There are no fresh veggies. There are no fresh veggies. Perhaps it's time for you to look around to find the aisle which has fresh veggies. If you are going to approach the job with the fact that, whatever you give me, I'm okay with it, you might attract similar kind of people who are aligning with your vibration. Versus when you go out there with a very clear intention that this is what I want, this is my ask, this is my give, and I'm very clear about it. These are the areas where I'm willing to negotiate. These are the areas which are my deal breakers. When you go to an interview with utmost clarity, that's when your interviewers will align with that clarity. Some will say no, some will say, let us think, let us talk, let's negotiate, and someone will just accept it. I do this, Poonam, in my vision building sessions that I do with my clients. I always tell them that you have to travel the aisle. That hard work you have to do. You can't wait at the counter of ready to make food and say, get me fresh veggies. Nobody's going to get you that. You have to push that trolley and look for the aisle which has fresh veggies. That effort you have to do.
So, like in terms of effort, I have floated my resume. I have got in touch with consultants. I'm doing all of that. On the real estate space, I have reached out to various people over there as well.
Fantastic.
But it's yeah. So from my side, I'm doing in the efforts.
Just make sure that when you're doing the efforts, from what space are you doing that effort? Are you operating from the space of conviction or doubt? Oh, I have put out the resumes. I have already sent out my resumes. I've already spoken to the agencies, but I doubt whether I'll get it. Or sometimes people may come and say, but you have a sabbatical. I doubt they'll give you the kind of package that you're asking for. So these are all kind of doubts that will come. Life always throws these doubts. The point is, how are you dealing with that doubts? Are you convinced with what you really want? And if you're convinced, then perhaps you may want to put that waiting period for that thing to manifest. It takes time. It really takes time. Sometimes it's an instant manifestation. Sometimes it takes time. It all depends on what vibration you are operating from. If you're operating from doubt, you will get doubt. And then you will say, see, I told na, aise yoga. Because now you are affirming your doubt. Or if you believe someone who says, oh, sabbatical people, na, they are always being negotiated and they never get the package they ask for, then that is what you're going to attract. But if you go with that confidence that I know what I want, I am going to be a contribution to any organization that hire me, may it be banking or may it be real estate. I am going to bring a lot of success to that organization. That is a potential that I have within me. And that is the energy that will be received.
So that energy is missing in me. That energy is missing in me.
Perhaps you have to work on that. You may have to consult someone or start doing your inner work. So this is, see, right now, Poonam, we have identified what is missing. The diagnosis is done. So now you have to focus on the treatment.
Okay.
One of the things what I can suggest is maybe you can write down all your doubts. That will give you clarity of what doubts you have. So standing in the counter of ready to cook, you're like, there are no veggies. There is no fresh produce. That means there are no farms, or there are no farms in my vicinity, or I won't get an immediate supply. So once you know, acha, these are my thoughts. Oh, I have seven such lacking thoughts. So I have to correct those thoughts. So now let me see what I can do, how I can change, how I can think differently. Does that help?
Yes. Yes. Thanks.
Yeah.
Most welcome.
I want to share something over here,
Yeah,
Neha.
please.
Actually, recently I have realized when I am happy in my current situation, whatever kind of it is, then I level up to next situation. And I feel very happy about it because I have just like, I found my ladder way up in my life in all areas in that way. Like, yes, I'm happy with this situation, then next better situation will come. So that is my personal, that the way you said a doubt, you shouldn't have doubt about anything. And that absolutely happened in my life. So far I was in doubt, nothing worked out in my life. I was falling back to same thing again and again in the physical relationship and everywhere. But now I came at the level where, of course, I did your course also, the Socrates questioning therapy and everything works for me. I actually use it. And with that, it's like I started being happy in my life where nothing was working. And then I'm leveled up to next situation. It's
Fantastic.
absolutely true, the way you are
Fantastic.
saying.
Fantastic. And thank you for sharing. And you're so right. You know, when we have gratitude to what we have right now, like I have a meal on my table, I'm not going empty stomach tonight. There are so many people who are fighting for that one meal. They don't even know where the next meal is going to come from. And we can't even fathom their situation because we have never been there. We have a healthy body. We can move around. We are mobile enough. We have the right wisdom. So there are so many things that a person can start counting their blessings. There's so many things that we can be grateful for. And when we operate from that space, our vibration shifts. Does that help, Poonam?
Yes. I
Oh.
would probably need to really focus on making that inner shift, and the vibration. I really need to focus on that because
Yeah.
that will help me manifest what I want in life.
Yeah. I can support you after this call in some way, or that we can explore later. But I would like to just share one tool with you before I take the next question. And that is identify and filter between facts and truth. Let me give you an example. Fact is that there is COVID and there is recession and people are losing out jobs. This is the fact. It's not an assumption. It is fact. People are actually losing jobs. I'm just giving an hypothetical situation. And people don't have jobs and people are struggling. You can actually see it. You have proofs. So it's a fact. What is the truth? The truth is that all human beings are infinite beings. All human beings are born to experience abundance. All human beings are the divine creation of the divinity. That is the ultimate truth. That is the ultimate truth. Now I have to choose, am I getting overwhelmed with the facts? Or am I looking beyond the facts and aligning with that ultimate truth? And the moment you start aligning with ultimate truth, that's when the doubts will go. That's when you will be able to have more conviction. Humans, the psychology is that we want immediate proofs. And we say, I will believe when I see it. No. You first believe, then you see it. That's how it goes.
This solves one of my conflicts.
Okay.
Not
Does that
believing
help,
in
Poonam?
God.
Somehow? Before I move to the next question, Poonam?
I'm done. Thanks.
Yeah? Great.
Yeah.
Super.
Thanks,
All right.
Neha.
Yeah. Most welcome. Yes, Sheetal, you were saying that's your conflict. What is your conflict?
Yeah. It's like recently, actually, I always have a problem with God since childhood. Means
Who
I
doesn't?
started believing in God, but since I realize I don't know if God is there, why so many things are happening, and
Sure.
if purpose of life and everything, it doesn't work. Sometimes I feel everything is a shit. And recently, a guy somehow I don't know. He's my friend. I also have love interest in him, but that's apart. He is always speaking about God and trying to connect me with God. So my conflict is, should I go into that area like trusting God? Um, I don't know if it is going to help me or harm me because my experience is whenever I trusted God blindly, it didn't work for me. Those things like were drastically bad in my life, especially in my relationship areas. So my conflict is, should I believe in God? I mean, is I doubt. Here is a big doubt in my mind.
Sure, sure. So, firstly, I would suggest that explore your relation with God. First, understand what is this concept of God and who has implanted this concept to you. Since childhood, in any culture, if you notice, people they take their children to the church, they take them to the temple for the prayers, to the mosque for the prayers. So it has been passed on to us from generations to generations. And as kids, I doubt whether we have ever asked our parents, okay, but why do I have to pray? Why do I have to fold my hands? So sometimes it is done as a way to show our parents that we conform to what we are saying, we are obeying to what you are saying. That is one way. Second is, as you rightly said, we blindly follow. If I have been told to fast on Mondays, I'm going to fast on Mondays. That's how it goes. The third kind of relation with God is a very transactional relationship. I am praying, you better give me what I'm asking for. I want ROI. I'm not here wasting my time praying, offering all the things that you're asking for. You better give me ROI. And that is somewhere a secret desire that most of us we bring in. Where is the love? Where is the love? And it's not just about God as an idol. We are talking about a divine source, a higher power that we can't understand. It's very mystic how things move. Like imagine the entire earth right now, it's revolving around moon. And we are getting sunlight and we are enjoying the night and we are enjoying the oxygen that we are breathing. Where is it all coming from? Our human body is such a complex thing. Who has created it? It's all a creation that has been done mystically by the higher source. So something which is beyond our logical comprehension, which even scientists have not been able to nail it. There has to be something to that supreme power. But how am I looking at that power is dependent on my thought process. Am I looking at it from the space of love? Or am I looking at it from the space of threat? Am I looking at it from the space of pure generosity? Or am I looking out from the space of beggar? You give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. This is my list of prayers. So that relationship perhaps you have to explore. A decision whether to believe in God or not is going to be yours. It's a very personal decision that you have to make. And there are so many people who say, oh, we don't believe in God. We are atheists. We don't believe. And that's okay. That also works for them. The point is, what outcome do you want out of believing in God? And what outcome are you aspiring for if you start worshipping God? That is what you need to be very clear of. For any conflict, Sheetal, and everyone on this call, this is how it goes. What is my end outcome? For Poonam, it's very clear. The end outcome is financial stability, period. That is the outcome that she wants, very clear. What is my end outcome? What is your end outcome is what you have to think. It is happiness. Okay, interesting. This is my happiness. This is my end outcome. Or my end outcome is peace of mind. That is my end outcome. So now what is it that is going to give me that outcome? Whether worshipping the God or not worshipping the God is also going to give me that. Fair enough. Does that help?
Yeah, but I pray to God. Of course, I ask for certain times which are out of my hand. I ask in my prayers. But it should not happen that in that area something very bad happens. Means that way I am going away from God. It's better I handle my problems rather than asking to God. Whether it's especially in my relationship area, whenever I pray, some guy comes in my life. I don't know how. But that guy spoils my life and it's like entirely disturbing my entire pattern of life is happening. And it happens twice or I think four times it has happened so.
So perhaps in this case, this is a question that I'm offering you and I would like you to reflect on this question. What is life trying to tell you through these experiences? What is life trying to teach you through these experiences? This is a question I want you to reflect upon. And this is not about God or no God. This is about life. Our life is constantly communicating with us, constantly, in different ways. Our experiences that we are having, the kind of learnings that we have out of the experience. Sometimes we are blinded to the experience, we don't realize. We become very observant of those experiences only when they start reoccurring, one after the other. People may change, experience will not. And you may wonder, guy is changing, but the experience remains the same. There was a client that I was working with, and she said, whenever I trust people, they betray me. Whenever I trust people, they betray me. So I said, what is it that life is trying to teach you? That was a one-on-one coaching call that she had signed up for. And she said, I don't know. I said, okay, that means you don't know what's happening to you. It's just happening to you. Where is your power? Where is your control? And we started exploring that. I'm not revealing the entire session that happened with her, but the crux of it was that she realized that she was not assuming her own power. And she was operating from the space of a victim. Poor me, they betrayed me. Poor me, they betrayed me. And the day she took the charge, of course, there was a lot of work that went into it. It's not that easy that I say, Ajo, take charge, and you're taken charge. It takes time. It needs self-work. You need that kind of support, either in form of a coach or a therapy or whatever that you're looking for. You need to learn. You need to upgrade your knowledge, because nobody has taught all of this to us when we were in school. So when I started working with her, we worked on her resistance, on her core fears that all surfaced. And one by one, those layers were removed. And that's when she realized that, no, I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I am the power that I'm looking for receiving from others. I am the power. And the day she assumed and acknowledged her own power, the episode started to reduce. It didn't vanish. Let me be very realistic. It didn't vanish. It wasn't a Cinderella story, happily ever after. It never is. It started to reduce. And gradually she started attracting harmonious relationships in her life. The ones she could trust. The one that she could rely on. But she really had to let go of certain things in order to attract certain things. That requires self-work. So one of the strategies of dealing with inner conflict, which I have written today for all of you, is stop ignoring and start noticing. Stop ignoring and start noticing. So when does this space of ignoring come? So when we are too negative, then we quieten our mind and we tell our mind, shut up. And we force ourselves to think positive. That also happens. Or we're like, you know what, this is too difficult for me. I don't even want to look at that. This stuff seems to be very difficult. Let me binge watch on Netflix. I'll feel a little better. That's my instant solution. But for how long will I ignore it? There will be a time when I have to notice it. It will come and stand right here on my face. I have to see it. So when you start noticing, when you start acknowledging, this is my fear. Acha, this is my resistance. Oh, this is the kind of equation I have with God. Okay, now let me see what I can do about it. That's when you start changing it. Does that help, Sheetal?
Yes.
Super, super, good. Interesting questions. Let me take other questions now. And someone has already sent a question to me so that I am going to address before we end the session today. We have Shri from Visakhapatnam. We have Rajkumar from Bangalore. And others are from Mumbai, if I'm not wrong. Yes.
Hi Neha, this is Rajkumar here. Hi. One of the things which I'm facing or I'm trying to deal with is some of the implanted thoughts or implanted beliefs. Like what happened was when I was a kid, when I was growing up, my parents used to read me my horoscope. When they used to show somebody, they used to read the horoscope telling that you're going to have a challenging life and all those stuff. So now when I face challenges, or when I face a lot of when I'm trying to overcome challenges, these implanted thoughts come to my mind, or they tend to kind of what to say, come back to my mind, telling that, oh, this is what is happening. How do I say this?
Yeah, got that. I got that.
Echo kind of a thing. So I'm not able to, I really don't, I'm trying to find where, I'm not sure how to kind of ignore that, because somehow like the evidences keep coming, popping up for the same, on that
Sure.
aspect.
Sure.
How do I kind of
Okay.
change?
Okay. I'll answer this question in a form of a story first. Okay. We already have a storyteller on this call, that is Shri. So Shri, forgive me if my storytelling skills suck here. Okay. So this is a story of an old lady who was battling with her son's illness. She was a mother, and all she wanted was to have her son's life. She wanted her son to regain good health, and her son was ill, and he was on the last stage, lying on the deathbed, and he passed away. And that broke the lady completely. She was shattered. She said, now there is no meaning to my life, and I can't let this happen. I can't live with this fact that I have lost my son. So she starts asking people around her, okay, how can I fix this situation? What can I do? And everyone directs her to Buddha. Says, there is this one wise man who sits under the tree. Why don't you go and talk to him? She says, okay. So she runs to Buddha and she cries and she weeps and she begs and she says, you know what? You are so powerful. You're so wise. I want you to breathe life into my son's body. He has to be alive. And the Buddha says, sure, I'll do that for you. But before I do that, I want you to do something for me. She said, yeah, sure, tell me. I want you to bring oil from at least one house in this village, a house which has never faced death. She goes to every house, knocks at the door and begs for the oil. And they said, no, sorry, our grandfather has passed away, husband has passed away, child has passed away. Every house had witnessed some death of some loved one. She doesn't give up. She goes to a different village, and then to a different village, and then to a different village. And she is disappointed. And she comes back to Buddha and says, I tried, but I couldn't find a single house where there was no death. And Buddha just smiles to her and says, yes, you will never find a house where there is no death, because death is inevitable. And she realizes that I can't run away from death. So Buddha says, now that you have lost your son, which was not in your hands, as it was inevitable, what do you think is in your control? And at that moment, it dawns onto her that I can be mother to many orphans who are looking for a parent, who are looking for a caregiver. And she, just from there, it's a new beginning to her life. Now, my question to you is, Rajkumar, what is your takeaway from this story? And this goes for everyone, not just Rajkumar. You can type in, you can just share what you think.
Maybe how we respond back to a situation is the only thing which is in our control. What happens to us is not in our control.
Absolutely. We all are born with our own destiny. We all have born with our own karma. And I'm not going into a spirituality talk here, but all I'm trying to tell you is, if we all would have had a same life, right now we would have been clones. But we are not. We have different ambitions, we have different aspirations, we have different challenges. Some of us could be challenging or fighting the battle of finance. Some of us could be fighting the battle of relationships, where there is family discord, where there is no harmony in relationships. Some of us are battling both these things. Some people are battling health challenges. No matter how much money they have, they are just not able to have a robust health. Now, all of us, we have got our own unique destiny. So whatever the astrologer must have said, I'm not denying the fact that whatever he must have said, looking at your horoscope, that may be the fact. exact point that I told Poonam. That could be the fact. But what is the truth? What is the ultimate truth? That we are the designers of our life. God has sent us with power. God has not just sent us down with the destiny that now go suffer. If that would have been the case, we wouldn't have got the wisdom, the intelligence. We have the intelligence to change things, to make decisions, to rewrite our own scripts. Why has all of this also infused in us? If our destiny was our ultimate fact, we wouldn't have been given wisdom. The only reason why we have given wisdom is so that we can change the story. And for doing that, we may have to put in a lot of efforts. But before even we put in the efforts, the first thing is, do I believe in this? And there can be a famous astrologer who can come and tell me that you are going to die next year. Okay, fine. If that is what you think it is. But if my purpose on this planet Earth is to serve people, then I'm going to work for it. I'm not going to live in the fear that, oh, I'm going to die next year. I'm going to die next year. I'm going to utilize every moment that I have in my life to live to the fullest. That is a choice that I'm making. I can make a choice of being like a vegetable and be on the bed and sulk and wallow in the future. Oh, this is going to happen with me, me, why me? Or I can take charge and I say, no, today what I have is what I'm going to make the most of. I don't know what tomorrow has in the store for me. So our conviction, our alignment with the truth, these are our assets to change the direction, to change the trajectory of our life. And this is applicable, Rajkumar, in any situation, finance, relationship, health. I know someone, my mentor, who I have been, working with. I've been learning from her. 4th stage cancer, no hope of getting recovered. Today she is, rocking it off. She's doing coaching sessions across the globe. She's got international clients. It was like a huge victory for her. So that's when I learned this right from my own guru, that there is something called as ultimate truth. We have to decide, what are we getting focused more on, the fact or the truth? Does that help in some way?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. That is the hand raised for conflict question. Okay. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, Neha, I have a question. And so I've embarked on the path of storytelling, and in the storytelling, I got inclined towards healing kind of stories and stories for adults and all that. Like earlier, I think Poonam had that. So it's about earning as well as doing something for the others, So there is a calling inside again for coaching or emotional well-being of others that I want to embark upon. There is a conflict of coming out of what I already know in storytelling and enhancing my skills to be a coach. And in that area also, like, I'm inclined towards being a parenting coach, because around me, I see a lot of conflict between the parents and children, and there are empty nesters, like, whose children have left for college, women who are struggling with menopause and loneliness and all that, and relationships where expectations are going wrong, leading to divorces. So multiple conflicts, all interlinked with each other. One, to embark into the world of coaching. To start my journey towards coaching. Two is, if I'm stepping into the world of coaching, should it be a kind of a life coach where you embrace everything, or find a niche and if it is a niche, which one to choose, because everything feels important to me. It feels I could help here, I could help there, I could help. I mean, so these are my questions.
So what is the burning desire?
The burning desire is to spread, happiness. I mean, like to actually make people come out of their say emotional well-being of people whom I come across.
Sure. And
People
where
have-
is the
Are
intention?
unhappy. I mean, those people could be someone I know very closely, like my best friend, what she's going through in her life. Like her elder one is IIT IIM and earning very well, 27-year-old. She belongs to a Telugu community, but she's fallen in love or going to marry a Sardar, and she's not able to take it that her daughter has cheated upon her, has kept it,
So largely
Uh,
parents,
pardon, yeah.
largely parents.
Yeah, largely parents, yes. And women especially whose children have gone to college, and there is this expectations from parents that children have to be like earlier generations, call upon their parents, ask their well-being and all. But children are on their own journey, of fitting in with the peers and trying to succeed in their own. Of course, uh, like you said, they binge watch on Netflix. In that binge watching of Netflix, to call the parent and ask, "How are you doing?" doesn't happen. And yeah, so these are all.
Yeah.
uh,
So I got that. I got that. So largely, when we are in a conflict, and one of the ways to address the conflict is to first identify the burning desire. What is my burning desire? That is the first thing. Second thing is, what is my flexibility quotient? One second. Okay, thank you, Poonam. Yeah. What is my flexibility quotient? How flexible am I? Let's say if my burning desire is to contribute to others, and my way of contributing to others is through coaching. As of now, it's through coaching. Am I flexible enough also to explore storytelling? Am I also flexible enough to conduct seminars? Am I also flexible to join some association, which is a wellness association, and then drive this? So check your flexibility quotient. Because burning desire is great. If that is my burning desire, then the second thing that always follows a burning desire is whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Now, in whatever it takes means my flexibility will be very high. My adaptability will be very high. My risk appetite will be high. My creativity element will be very high, because whatever it takes, if it takes for me to negotiate, I will negotiate. If it takes for me to come up with my own niche, like this, what you said about empty nest, it's a great niche. I think not many people find this niche that, oh, parenting is for everyone. Parenting is a huge umbrella. It can be for people who have just newly become parents, or it could be for someone who is dealing with teenage issues, or it is something like what you are saying about emptiness. Okay, so this is my niche and this is where I want to go. But the route that I'm selecting, while I'm selecting this route, what am I willing to let go? What am I willing to explore? These are some of the questions that you can reflect upon. I'm not giving a ready-made answer that you do this, because I'm not your career coach or a career counselor. But maybe these questions may help you. Being a coach, what we do as profession is we nudge people. We make people think in the right direction.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's how it goes. And then, of course, if you continue a professional journey with any coach, me or anyone else, that's when the journey will have more introduction of concepts, hand-holding, learning. But no matter what you do, we never feed in solutions. You do this. But while you were saying, I found a great niche that you have only identified for yourself, emptying the nest. And then perhaps we can explore that, is this a burning desire for me? Is this something that I want to change? And is this going to be the mission for my life? If this is the mission of my life, then I'm willing to take then I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get what I want.
Yeah.
That is one thing. I hope this answers your question in some way.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. And also while you're pursuing your path, again, there's an interesting story that I would like to share, that there was this one woman who was being cheated by her husband. She was an interior designer and not very financially independent, a housewife, and got cheated by her husband and went to a coach. And she said, this has happened with me. This has happened with me. I don't know what to do. And of course, a lot of self-work happened and guidance happened and all of that. And the coach asked her, but what is the mission of your life? And she couldn't think of it. And then the coach probed, what is the mission of your life? But what is the mission of your life? And she said, the day my husband cheated on me, my husband threw me out of the house. And I was out on the road, jobless, homeless, had nothing to do, had no penny to fend myself. And that's when I decided that I'm going to build myself a life. I'm going to take up a job. I'm going to build my house. I'm going to become financially stable, which she did. Then he said, great. So now what is your mission? So she literally asked the universe that, yes, now what is my vision? Because I got what I wanted. I'm financially stable. I got everything that I wanted. I'm remarried also to a new man. So relationship-wise also I'm doing well. My children are also good. They are successful. Now what's my vision? So she literally surrendered to the universe and said, show me the way. And one day she got an idea that I am going to build 1,000 homes for all such helpless women who are being abandoned by their families for whatever reason. Could be illness, could be any other reason. I am going to build those 1,000 homes. And that became the mission of her life. And she dedicated herself to that mission. Not only did she earn money and fame, but she earned a lot of blessings of people because so many women she contributed to. So the times when you are in the conflict, which way to go? Surrender. Surrender. Your inner voice will guide you. But your inner voice will guide you only when you're willing to listen to your inner voice.
Absolutely.
So that's how it is. I hope this helps.
Yes, it does.
Great. Now, before we close, I'm just going to read one more question which Latika has shared, and it's 8:31, and I'll keep it very short. And she wanted to attend the session, but somehow she can't because of her work. So she said, sometimes we lack initiative, and due to which we are not able to do things we like to do or we want to do. How do we address this part in our lives? How do we mentally prepare ourselves to take these initiatives? So largely our question is about how to take initiative, and that is the inner conflict. So again, my answer to this question would be identify your burning desire, because many a times we get confused with wishful thinking and burning desire. I wish that I can do this. I wish that I can be a globally recognized storyteller, but that could be my wishful thinking. What is it that I have to do today in order to take that first step, which can take me towards my goal? So it needs to be a burning desire that I am not leaving this planet before I achieve this. So if it's going to take me 50 years to get there, so be it, but I am not signing out of something called as life till the time I get this. And it doesn't have to be always career. It can be something I want to have harmonious relationships. I know this one actress, I'm not able to place her name. She got married at the age of 60. Very famous actress. She's done Jodha Akbar and all that movies. She's played the role of Aishwarya's mother. Very, very sweet, beautiful looking actress. And I think I read about her in one of the articles. And she said, I wanted to have a harmonious, loving relationship. She got married at the age of 60. Nobody could have ever thought that at 60, someone can be a bride. But that was the conviction that she had. I'm not signing out till the time I get what I want. And I believe that God is going to give me, or the higher source is going to give me what I want. So I'm not giving up. So when you operate with that conviction, the manifestation happens with ease. So that's the questions. That's my answer to Latika. And I hope this answer in some way contributes to you all as well.
Yes, it does.
Super. On that note, it's 8:33 and we have overshot our time by 3 minutes. So I'm going to call it a night for all of us.
Thank you so much, Neha, for this.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
beautiful session.
Thank you.
We
Thank
really
you so
enjoyed.
much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for investing in your own self and giving me the opportunity to facilitate and trusting me with my little capability that I have to nudge. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.